Well, hello there, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of the Melanin Mayhem Podcast, hosted by your favorite country girl, Renee Davis. Honey, if today is your first time kicking it with us in these mayhem streets, we welcome you with open arms and piping hot tea to be sipped slowly and consumed weekly, darling. Because you see, I, the hostess with the mostest, I'm gonna bring you every Wednesday stories about some melanated baddies that, ooh, child, they did some heinous, I'm talking diabolical and downright audacious crimes of the serial variety. I'm going to tell you what they did, how they did it, and who they did it to. And I do this. I am the keeper of the dark side of our oral history because I am on a mission to dispel this pervasive myth that's out here that there are certain types of crimes that black people don't commit. Honey, that's bullshit because, baby, we have been out here serial offending right along with the clear teens ever since this thing got started. I'm going to bring you all the deets because we all we got, honey. Now, some of these mayhem makers, you may have heard of them before, kind of sort of remember something about what had happened was, but I can promise you this, whether you've heard about them or not, no part of the story or just the headlines, I can promise you that you have not heard the story the way I'm going to tell it, baby, and that's for sure. So go on ahead and get yourself comfortable because, ooh, you're in for a ride today. Oh, and to my main things, babies, my cousins, what it do, baby, my A1 day ones, New Orleans Nation. I'm so glad y'all are here. I'm so glad it's Wednesday. Y'all know it is late in the day, very early on Wednesday morning as I'm in here trying to make this thing happen. I think I like it. It's something about recording in the wee hours of the morning. I've always liked this time of night. Back before COVID, when the world used to still be open, this was my favorite time to go grocery shopping. Baby, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, catch me in Kroger doing my thing. Everything has been restocked. The store is clean, it's quiet. I can just do what I need to do. But yeah, that's why I like this time of morning, which is another reason why I can't do video. Because I look like, let me see who I look like. Florida Evans or Frederick Douglass. One or the other one. I'm talking about bra off, hair off, everything off, baby. The girl is comfortable, is what she is. Let's see, what do we have this week for church announcements? Oh, Essence, baby, we on a real countdown now. Essence is in a month, actually less than a month now. I just bought my ticket the other night because I was like, okay, girl, keep playing. So I got my ticket. Everything, we got the hotel room is booked. I just got to get my swag that I'm bringing down there to give away. And I am so excited. I've never been to Essence. I know I keep saying that, but I haven't. I've never been. And I love New Orleans. I plan on eating my way through as much of the city as I possibly can, as well as meeting so many of you and our new cousins, because we got to bring more people into the New Orleans Nation fold, right? So get ready. I will be keeping y'all updated. There will be some live stuff that I'll post on social media while I'm down there at Essence. Let's see, what else do we have? Summertime shenanigans. We have got to get together and do something. It's about time for us to do another show type of situation. You know, we like to get together where we can. Maybe another online, maybe a game night or something. I don't know. Y'all let me know what we thinking about. But we know we got to get into some summertime shenanigans, right? Oh, and talking about summertime, y'all know I do my quarterly breaks, and I'm thinking for the 4th of July holiday, since I'm going to be out of town enjoying New Orleans, we probably will do a flashback for that Wednesday because I am probably not going to be in no shape to get this episode together, or maybe we'll just do something live. You know, I don't just leave you without something because y'all keep telling me y'all like crack out here. That y'all be fiending for it. So, you know, I'm going to make sure that we got something to tide you over until I get back. Which also brings me to the Melanin Mayhem original story series. Ooh, y'all are loving that, baby. If you have not gotten down, you got to get down with a subscription because those episodes over there, they be going crazy. Oh my goodness. The feedback has been phenomenal. Again, thank you all for everyone who has already subscribed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for continuing to spread the word. There was a couple of questions. I did post it online. I guess I need to do it again. I have been doing a horrible job of posting over the past 2 weeks. It's just been crazy. But I had posted the instructions for, if you subscribe, how to find your link, as well as how to access those episodes. So if anyone has questions, if you have not been able or cannot figure out how to, please, if nothing else, just drop me a line by email, and I will send you a link to make sure that you can get into it. All right, that's all I got this week for church announcements. That's enough, right? So let's go on and get on to the reason for the streaming, because honey, I got some mayhem for you this week right from my own backyard. This week we're going to be in the Peach State with a tale of some foolishness and fuckery that is just hard to damn swallow. I mean, serial killing for the sake of serial killing. That's some bullshit. Like, this motherfucker ain't had nothing better to do than to fuck up some bullets for a few weeks back in 2014. I mean, if ever there was a nigga that can't get right, it's this motherfucker that I'm gonna tell y'all about today. I mean, the whole thing just kind of pisses me off. But I mean, first and foremost, no murder should ever have to happen, right? Period, full stop. But the ones that we're gonna talk about today, they really didn't have to happen. I mean, this is a crash out case with a crazy ass ending. And baby, I got all the tea, honey. So without further ado, let me drag this trifling motherfucker to the front of the congregation so we can drag his ass properly. This week's Melanin Mayhem maker is Mr. Aeman Lovelle Presley. Let's get into it. So, Aeman Lovelle Presley, he was born in 1980. Now, what's crazy is I don't know the exact date, and that's weird considering that we're talking 1980. There should have been some good record keeping going on, but whatever. I don't have it. It's not even on the prison records that I could find. So we're going to keep it pushing. We know he was born in 1980 in Chicago. His mama is Ursina Presley. No idea who the pappy was, although word on the curb is that he was in law enforcement, so maybe he was some type of cop or something. Ursina raised Aeman on the south side of Chicago in Morgan Park. Ursina was a spare the rod, spoiled a child kind of parent in her mind. Like, she wanted to be that way. She was strict on him. She wanted to keep a tight leash on Aeman. But you know, a single mother who's got to work from sun up to sundown trying to get them ends to meet, up against the call of the Chi-Town street life. Y'all know that's an unfair fight. It was just him and her. And so when she was at work, which was all the time, Aeman was alone to do whatever's clever. And you know, you can say, stay your ass in the house for only so long, you know what I'm saying, before it that loses its power, and them children not gonna stay in the house because ain't nobody in there with them, right? It becomes background noise, and it wasn't long before the streets won over little Aeman. He was around 12 when he succumbed. He got down with a little crew round the way. And they took his little ass right on to school, honey. He was into all kind of shit. And I'm talking, this is like 5th, 6th grade, right? By the time he was 13, he had joined the folk nation. You know what? We used to have some of them in my hometown. Not the point. Well, actually, it is the point because gangs are everywhere. But anywho, Miss Ursina had seen what was happening with her son, and she knew that if she didn't get him the hell out of Chicago, he probably wasn't going to see his 21st birthday. So she packed it up And they hopped on the midnight train to Georgia, honey, landing in the Stone Mountain area. Now, Miss Ursina, she tried to remove the gang element by leaving Chicago, right? But she basically just jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire because guess what? They got gangs in the South too. And when Aeman enrolled over at Stone Mountain High School, he passed through there from time to time. But one thing for certain and two things for sure, you can find your tribe of criminal motherfuckers wherever you go. And your boy Aeman, he found his. And how we know this is that, how can I say this? Your boy Aeman, he got loose lips. He likes to talk. I'm talking about he ain't never seen a recording device that he didn't want to unburden himself to. And in 1995, when he was like a sophomore in high school, he did an interview with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. It was an article about Atlanta's gang problem, right? And so Aeman is all in print talking about he ain't a killer, but he hang with him. He like to bust a cap, but precision ain't his ministry just yet. And eventually he would give up on high school, but he did get his GED. And there, I guess, was still some piece of a spirit of wanting to be a productive citizen inside of him. And so he made the decision that he was going to join the military. He tried to join the Marines. And the Marines was like, we'll pass. But he was going to try it again. Okay, the Marines don't want me. He gonna try the National Guard. And so that's what he ends up doing. He joins the Georgia National Guard. But that shit didn't work out either. The National Guard, they opened up the doors and then they shut them. They gave him a discharge, and he was discharged because of psychotic personality disorder. Now, this is very important because it is at this point in time that this nigga is official like a referee with a whistle. He is certifiably throwed the fuck off, so much so that the National Guard is like, we good. I mean, okay, but just remember that he has gotten a official diagnosis at this time. So Georgia National Guard doesn't work out, and he is back at Miss Ursina's house, right? And by now, early 20s, this nigga got some issues, right? He on some real aggressive, wanna square up on everybody about anything type shit, right? And so his mom has moved away from Stone Mountain and she's in the Conyers area, right? It's out at 20. And somewhere around this time, Aeman has a son. That's what broke folk do. They fuck and make children they can't take care of. And, he trying to figure out some shit and figure out life. And he gets a little job over at the movie theater. This is around mid 2002. Now, I have never worked at a movie theater, but I have gone to quite a few. And it seems relatively like a low stress type of situation. You take a few tickets, you pop some corn, you sweep up some shit, you make sure it got butter on it. You know what I'm saying? I really don't think it's really much going on at the movie theater that'll make the veins in your neck pop out. You know what I'm saying? Well, not for this nigga Aeman. Come to find out, he at work ready to pop the fuck off on anybody, customers included. So, of course, the manager fires his ass. Baby, what the fuck he do that for? That crazy ass Aeman? Oh, he went the fuck off. How about he about to beat the brakes off the manager? He got this man so scared that he got to call the police to come get this motherfucking off his property, right? So the Rockdale sheriff, they pull up, right, and they try to defuse the situation or whatever, but Aeman ain't trying to hear none of that shit because he is ready to rumble. Baby. So they take his rumbling ass away in handcuffs and he's off to the county jail, right? But he just get a little slap on the wrist. They made him take a few anger management classes or whatever. But in my head, I'm thinking, nah, this nigga needs some high quality prescription pharmaceuticals. Make his ass sit down with Eli Lilly, get some pills and calm his documented psychotic ass the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? New One Nation. I'm just saying. Well, about 4 months later, 2003, Aeman jumps on his mama. Now, understand at this point, Miss Ursina is older and she's got some health problems and she can't hardly move around because of arthritis, right? And it all popped off because Aeman didn't like what his mama said to him one day. Miss Ursina said, baby, money a little tight. And I need you to be a little, shall we call it, thrifty. You know what I'm saying? You ain't really got no real money coming in, and my disability check only goes so far. So I need you to just work with me, not against me. Baby, what the fuck she say that shit for to this throwed off ass nigga? When I tell you this nigga opened up a can of whoop ass on his mama like she stole something. I'm talking about putting hands and feet on the woman that gave your puss ass life and a roof over your dust ass head. He is damn near monkey stomping his mother. Now she is able to get away and get to a neighbor's house. Neighbor called the police for, whatever. And so when the cops show up, we get a glimpse at who this nigga daddy might be. Commit Ursina at that time, he the son of Satan. That's some shit to call your own offspring. She also told them to take his monkey ass away. She had done all she could do. Miss Ursina said that she had kept and prayed up and prayed over him. But baby, this crazy motherfucker was not gonna cut her water off. The devil is a lie. So, okay, the Rockdale County Sheriffs, they go next door to Miss Ursina's house to go see what the fuck Aeman on, right? And when they go up in the house, please tell me why this motherfucker is up in that bitch sleep. I know the fuck he wasn't, Nate. Yes, the fuck he was. Sleep. You done beat your mama up and got the nerve, gall, and negacity to be laying up in the house that she paying for, sucking up the air that is provided by her. And you sleeping like a baby in this bitch. Let me tell you something. I ain't never wished police brutality on nobody, but they should have pulled out the billy club on that ass and bust him in the head to the white meat. Gave his ass a Rodney King wake up call. I mean, what the fuck? How dare you? Like, that pisses me off more than anything. How fucking dare you? Sleep? Grits. That's what she should have. Mama, you should have went in there and made a pot of grits. Anywho, they wake this mama molly whopping motherfucker up and they tell him that his mama wants him out of her house. And of course, he immediately starts crashing the fuck out. Now mama ain't shit. Fuck her. She ain't shit. His punk ass daddy ain't shit. They always tripping on him. You know what I'm saying? Just tiny violins everywhere. And so the cops listen to him go on and on and on about how everybody ain't shit and he so being victimized. You still ain't addressed the fact that your mama's over here fucked up, nigga. So the cop hit him was like, well, if it's so bad here, why the fuck is you still living in your mama house, you scrub? And so here he come, that goddamn two-talk. I'm just here long enough to stack a little paper, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm out this bitch. I'm going to LA, you know what I'm saying? Because I got big dreams. I want fame. And these motherfuckers ain't going to never see me sweat. Man, miss me with that. It's always the ones that talk about people hating on them. Nigga, your mother is not hating on you. She gave you life and a motherfucking place to lay your goddamn rust ass head. And you got the nerve and audacity to put hands on her and then be sitting up here performing? Sir, miss me with that victim bullshit. But then it don't end here, One Nation, because at this point, the deputies, they don't arrest him. They just trying to figure out what type of domestic incident this is, right? So they don't listen to Miss Ursina's side of the situation, and now they've gone and they've talked to Aeman and got his side of the situation. And so now they need to go back outside and confer and figure some shit out, right? Well, they go outside and they are, I guess, about to go talk to Miss Ursina again. And that pussy ass Aeman follows them out the house. And when they get to the neighbor's house where his mama is, oh baby, this nigga really start performing. Now he talking about how he finna get his gun and kill all y'all. They like, y'all? Who the fuck is y'all? This nigga Cheese done slid all the way off his cracker. He talking about how he gonna shoot holes in everybody. Everybody? Every motherfucking body. Okay. So, of course, the police tend to take that shit serious, threats of violence against them, you know what I'm saying? So they walk up on Aeman and he square up on them, right? He take a swing and then swung his ass down the road trying to outrun the police. Again, yo, pussy ass. You a throw rocks and hide your hand type of nigga. Cause how you been talking big shit? You done put your hands all on your mama. And now that the boys in blue is here, you gonna swing once and then swing your ass down the road like you can really outrun them. Nigga. Stop it. So they hawked his ass down and they had to wrestle his ass because this nigga was greased up like a pig for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? He was slippery. And so they finally get him in cuffs and into the backseat of a squad car. And now here he go trying to kick out the window. I told y'all he was performing. And so now they break out the leg irons and they restrain this nigga to the car. You know what I'm saying? Completely. You just got to be here immobilized. And I don't know after this, I don't know if he got on his meds or whatever, but it seems like for whatever reason, God, prayer, whatever it was, he calmed down for a little bit, right? And he started trying to do something else, something productive, something positive. He started doing work as extra in films and things that were being shot in Atlanta. Because, Atlanta was the Hollywood of the South, is the Hollywood of the South, right? And for a while, Aeman stayed booked and busy with all this extra and background work. And, he took a little acting class and now he's a thespian. Yes, honey. Aeman is out here, a A-list actor. Y'all just didn't know, honey. He did a couple of bit pieces. What was the ABC show? Not To Catch a Predator. What Would You Do? He was one of them people that was like a barista somewhere. He ain't say nothing, but he was in the shot. And he also did a Popeyes commercial. Aeman, not you was out here singing for chicken. I'm sorry, y'all. He also did a reality show. He did Tiny and Toya. Y'all remember that on, I think it was BET that it was on. He did a couple of, background things in there, and he couldn't remember if it was an Xbox or a PlayStation commercial, but he did some things. I ain't taking nothing from him. He got in front of the camera and his face is out there. If you screw up the internet, you might be able to find Aeman, right? And things were starting to look good. I mean, if not good, at least stable. And so Miss Ursina would go on to be with the Lamb about 3 years later in 2006. Aeman would continue on with his acting aspirations. And I don't know if he got a little insurance money when Miss Ursina passed, or maybe he just stacked up his paper from his acting jobs. I don't know. But the next thing you know, this nigga is on Facebook posting pictures of him on the beach. It's like December 2010. He is in his 30s, I think 31 at this time. And it looked like life is treating him good. You know what I'm saying? But honey, y'all know that social media life is not always the true picture of a situation. And for whatever reasons, Aeman had felt like that he had paid his dues in these acting streets, and now it was time to head west, baby, on some Hollywood here I come type shit. And see, Aeman thought that because he stayed busy with little bits and pieces here in Atlanta, that was going to translate to him being booked and busy in LA. Baby, the truth of the matter was a bitch slap all upside the head, honey, because this nigga in his 30s and thought he was about to break into the modeling and acting world and just change the game. What he got was his feelings hurt because LA wasn't studying that ass. The reality of the situation is that this nigga booked 0 jobs of any type while he was in LA. They were not checking for him in no way, shape, form, or fashion. So, what's a nigga that didn't even make it to be a has-been, what he supposed to do? Well, he sits around feeling sorry for himself, doing drugs and shit for a little while. Take that broke ass dick on tour and end up making another human that he can't take care of. Left his mark on LA by way of a little girl. And left is a true verb in this situation because, baby, no type of paternal participation. So, still trying to get his acting chops up, in LA because he got a dream. He signs up for another acting class thinking, maybe his Southern education needed a little West Coast flavor. And when he goes to this acting class that he has paid his money that he don't have, but has paid nevertheless, he is appalled that this was a beginner's class for motherfuckers that was just starting out. Baby, he was an actor with a capital A. They better put some respect on his name. I mean, just really entitled acting out. Nigga, don't nobody know you. And so, even though you have paid your money for this acting class, money that you don't have, you so upset that they don't recognize your talent that you just don't even go back. But baby, it's expensive to live in LA. I mean, paying for a room that got a door that you control, and you might have a couple of mouths to feed. Maybe that's too much. That's a lot of money. And Aeman say even though he didn't necessarily want to, he leaned back into them old street ways. Them skill sets that one never forgets to get by. And then eventually Aeman gets caught with a little shum on him and catch a little possession charge. Then shit get worse. Now the cell phone is cut off. You know you doing bad when you can't pay your cell phone bill. Nigga, go get you a beeper.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Stop, Nate, stop. Now he can't even post. You ain't got no cell phone. You ain't got no reception. You ain't got no nothing. You just he doing bad, y'all. He down bad, and he didn't go to court for that little possession shit. And so now you got a warrant out for your arrest, baby. Aeman is circling the drain. Well, he eventually scratches up enough money for a bus ticket back to Georgia. He on some fuck them cheering type shit again. He out. Aeman has left the building. But you got to understand this. Miss Ursina is gone on, and he ain't got no family like that in Atlanta where you can just pop up and be like, hey, I'm home. So when he gets off that bus, he begins living his life, shall we say, the transient homosexual phase in the making kind of bullshit on the streets of Atlanta. I mean, because he is literally one step away from being under the bridge. So this is like 2014 when he gets back into Atlanta, and I guess on the bus ride back he had psyched himself up to believe that he could just jump back into his acting career that he left in Atlanta, and apparently that was not to be. No work means you don't eat, and if you don't eat, you hungry, and if you ain't got no money, you can't pay your room rent, right? So he got to make ends, and so he gets a job washing dishes at various restaurants around Atlanta. We talking that $8 a life hour, baby. Well, Aeman says that, even though he has lowered his standards to come in here and make this little money, they were disrespectful, and clearly they didn't know who the fuck he was. And we know Aeman can be aggressive, and he was very aggressive in these little jobs, right? Put pause on people for not respecting his gangster. And eventually he would quit because, dishwashing was not why he was put on this earth. So now he got to go back to getting it how he live, right? He say he got that gat to put a motherfucker on their back. Snatching season is upon us, right? And for Aeman, he says that when he made this decision to go back to the crime life, he forgot that there was a demon, a killer that lived inside of him. And these are his words, not mine, right? Something inside of him wanted blood all the time. I mean, I guess this nigga was on some feed me Seymour type shit, right? And so let him tell it. He was staying over at the little Dewdrop Motel, and this is one of those type of places where, the STDs are free and plentiful. And them sheets are dubious at best. And so he's in this room and he's thinking up a master plan. And he came up with a plan to go rob a dollar store in the Stone Mountain area, right? He got this gun and he ain't scared to do what he need to do. And so when it came down to the day that he was going to do it, something about the plan didn't quite work out right. So there would be no robbery on this particular day. And so he is walking back to his room, I guess thinking about what went wrong. And as he is walking, he passes by a closed down Kmart off of Memorial Drive. Again, this is in Stone Mountain. And at this vacant Kmart, he sees this man. This man is minding his business, getting his smoke on. Man is chilling, smoking crack in front of the shut down Kmart. Not bothering nobody. Got him a little drinky drink and some cracky crack. Baby, this nigga was lit. And so at this point, Aeman decides, fuck robbing. Tonight, murder is on the menu. Yeah, now he don't want to rob. Now he want to kill. He literally says that his mind shifted from thinking about money to craving a kill, and that he was powerless to repress the urge. So now he begins to rationalize why he needs to kill this man smoking and drinking in front of a shut down Kmart. Like, why he not bothering a soul? In Aeman's mind, he says that God must have wanted him to help this man, to help him by sending him to the upper room. He was homeless. He would be at home with the Father forever. Like, I really wish I was making this up, but this is literally what this nigga Aeman said in an interview. This shit came out of his mouth. I mean, every noun and every verb. The night in question is September 27, 2014, and the man is 53-year-old Calvin Goulston. And he had his little sidewalk studio over off an alley by Memorial Drive, which is in DeKalb County. And it's Calvin that's out here getting his drink and his smoke on, right? Tell me why Aeman walks up on Calvin and shoots him. And when he hit the ground, he shoot him again in the back of the head. And then he's still not done. He then proceeds to empty some more bullets into Calvin's back. Like, God damn it, man, he dead. Stop. And he did. He just stood there watching this man's blood pool around his head. And then he says he was satisfied. And then he walked his ass right on back to the room, fixed himself something to eat, and channel surfed for the rest of the night. DeKalb County Police found Calvin, and for them it was an unsolved murder because there were no clues. This is a closed down Kmart, so it's not like there are cameras up. Nobody saw anything. It was just Calvin there. So again, unsolved murder. No leads, going cold. So okay, a little time has passed, and I'm talking like a couple of months, and it's now Turkey Day season, right? And this nigga Aeman, once again, he say he chilling in his room. He gonna run over to Wendy's and get him a little 5 for $5, and he is posted up watching the movie 300. Now, if you don't know of this movie, it's very violent. Lots of blood and gore and amazing fight scenes. And most people can watch it and maybe your heart rate gets pumping a little bit, but that's about it. But not this nigga Aeman. He watches it, and while the Wendy's sated his physical hunger, the movie woke up his appetite for murderation. And so this nigga jumps up, and now he gotta go take somebody's life. He gets dressed in all black, grabs that peace be still, and before he heads out the door, this trifling motherfucker says a prayer. A prayer that God take the bloodlust away. And if God don't want to take the bloodlust away, then don't let the victim suffer. Let them go quick. What in the entire fuck? Like, how you gonna pray for somebody who water you about to go cut off? I mean, that's next level negacity right there. I told you, foolishness and fuckery. That's what we were dealing with today. So Aeman leaves his room and he goes on the hunt. Now, Dorian Jenkins was 42 years old and they called him Sidewinder because he dragged one of his feet when he walked, you know what I'm saying? And Dorian would be the unlucky individual that would catch a few bullets from Aeman's gun. They found him 4 days before Thanksgiving at the intersection of Cortland and Ralph McGill. And that's crazy, y'all, because where this is located at is right downtown in an area that is always full of traffic or people. Like, I've never seen that area not be busy. There's always a car. There's always somebody on a scooter, like at all times. And this man was able to walk up on this homeless man and shoot the shit out of him, and nobody seen nothing. And kick this, while we are at 2 murders now, they are in different jurisdictions. You see, Calvin got in Stone Mountain, that's DeKalb County, and Dorian was killed in Atlanta, that's Fulton County. They don't link these crimes together, and the information about these murders, they aren't shared because they don't think it's a thing. At this point, it's basically 2 separate senseless murders of transient men. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. In most places, there, in a way, a snowball's hope in hell that anyone would have found out about these murders. But we talking Atlanta, Chocolate City. We know Atlanta ain't a real place, and they sometimes do ain't real shit. And in this particular case, they put out the story about the killing that happened in Atlanta. Well, Dorian Jenkins was found on a very busy section of road, so it was newsworthy, right? The cops were out on the street. They were asking questions of the community that passed through that area, where they found Dorian. They were doing the work. They just weren't getting any leads. Nobody saw nothing. Nobody heard nothing. No anything on camera. Well, 4 days later, 68-year-old Tommy Mims, he was killed. And 4 days later just so happened to be Thanksgiving Day. A day for being thankful, and this motherfucker was out here murdering. Now, Tommy, they called him Can Man because he picked up cans, right? Can Man, Tommy. I love Can Man. I just like that for a nickname. I don't know. I want to be respectful and call him by his name, but he was Can Man to everybody who knew him. Anyway, Tommy, he was one of them people that didn't bother nobody. He had been living on the street, and he was living on the street by choice because he had a family that wanted him to come home, right? But Tommy, Can Man, he had been living on the street for like 3 decades. Again, by choice. He preferred the wide open, and he clearly knew how to handle himself because a motherfucker that can live on the street for 30 some odd years, that's an OG. You understand what I'm saying? And so this nigga Aeman, he walks up on Can Man while he was asleep, folded up in blankets, because mind you, it's Thanksgiving, it's a little chill outside, you know what I'm saying? So I could see him bundled up, to keep the chill off of him, right? And this nigga walks up on him and unloads his revolver into Can Man's body, and then he just walk off, headed for the train station. But check this shit out. After he had been walking for just a little bit, this twisted-minded nigga got to thinking that Can Man might not be dead. So then this motherfucker turns around and goes back and reloads and put 3 more bullets in Can Man. Whew, sweet baby Jesus. Now, it's Thanksgiving, right? Somebody might have came up on something and, wanted to share a little something, or maybe they just wanted to wish Tommy a happy turkey day, right? And that's how they found him. So the police come, it's Thanksgiving night, and again, they are taking this shit seriously because it don't make no sense. Understand, I am not trying to generalize the situation, but transient or unhomed people most times die in a couple of ways: overdose or exposure, something like that. Maybe a fight that went sideways, right? But they don't typically die snuggled up in their blankets with a bunch of holes in their bodies. It just didn't make sense. It still don't make sense. And no tea, no shade. It wasn't for sure a damn robbery. I mean, because Tommy's earthly belongings was all right there in his shopping cart. Cans, knickknacks, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nothing that someone would need to unload a revolver into someone's body to take. I mean, think about it. The lead and the bullets was worth more than probably all the cans in the cart. So what the fuck? Atlanta police, they taking this shit seriously. There is an episode of the First 48. They're on the news. Like, they are out here beating the streets, but they getting a whole lot of nothing. That is until they got the ballistics back on the bullets. And that's when they were able to link Calvin's murder in Stone Mountain, Dorian's murder from 4 days ago, and now Cam Man. Now, Detective David Quinn had been on the job for 30 years. I'm talking about a sure enough veteran, right? And at this particular time, he was on his way out the door. Retirement was right here. And then he caught the case for Cam Man's murder, Mr. Tommy, right? This will be his last case before he throws the deuces, and his last case ends up being a goddamn serial killer for the very first time in his career. Man, that's the way to go out the door, Detective Quinn. But here's the thing. They don't have any idea who's out here committing these murders. All they got is the bullets and the type of gun it is. And there was something about that because those bullets were kind of special. They weren't being produced anymore. At that point in time, it had been like 4 or 5 years since they had been in production. So if they can find out who bought this type of gun and those type of bullets, they might be able to get their man, right? And so good police work, they do indeed find the owner of the gun that those bullets came out of. But it ended up being a dead end because the owner of the gun said that the gun had been stolen out of his car. And he didn't exactly know when the gun had been stolen. It was just a little something he kept under the seat. And one day he just so happened to look under said seat and realized his gun wasn't there. And wait a minute, before some of y'all be like, how the fuck you ain't know you ain't got your gun? I'm sorry, but it does happen sometimes. I'm in the South. We love our guns and we have multiple guns. And sometimes it is possible to not necessarily know what the last place you had said firearm. Now, of course, there are no children around because we do lock up our guns when we have children in the vicinity because we don't play them games. But I have had an occasion to not necessarily know which pocketbook I last had my pistol in. I have had an occasion to show up at the airport and had to run back to the car because, in that pocket over there was my gun. It happens. But in this particular case, the owner of the gun, he had no idea that it was stolen, didn't know when it was stolen, just know that he didn't have it no more, right? That all of that was not the point, but you know me. Sometimes I go down and have to go off script for a minute. But anyway, back to the story. Check this shit out. At this point in time, Aeman has killed 3 people, right? And for whatever reason, he says that he started having, I guess you would call it like an attack of his conscience, because apparently while he was in California, he had overheard a conversation between a couple of sisters, and they was basically talking about how it was a shame how we kill our own and that we don't go up on the Saltine Nation like that. You know what I'm saying? And when he got back to Georgia, somewhere, I guess around this point, he has another opportunity to hear another couple of sisters say the same thing in Atlanta, that, black on black crime, we don't never kill them white folks, that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? One of them conversations. And so in his mind, he thought that that was a sign and that he didn't need to kill his brothers. He needed to focus his attention on the lighter hued. You know what I'm saying? He gonna stop killing the melanated and switch up to fucking up the unseasoned. And so it is with this new plan of action that he finds himself in Decatur, Georgia on December 6, 2014. And Decatur is where it's greater. That's also in DeKalb County. And so Aeman is just walking around and he sees this older marshmallow fella, right? And he started following him. And he's setting up to kill. And then that shit kind of went left because old dude went inside of a well-lit parking structure that had a lot of people around. And so Aeman aborted mission and kept on looking. Baby, it wouldn't be long though before he ran up on a Mayonnaisian walking to her car named Karen Pierce. Now, Karen was 44 years old and she was a hairstylist. Say she was a little petite or something and just getting out work for the salon, or maybe she had been out having drinks or whatever, just kicking it or whatever. But she going to her car, she going home, and this man starts following her. And so he runs up on Karen and she's afraid. But she's like, what the fuck you want with me, because we book back sometime. And so he says, I ain't gonna do nothing to you. Just give me your pocketbook. And then Karen does. She gave him her purse. And then he turns around and he still shoots her anyway. Sent Karen to go see the manager in the sky. Sure did. And so the DeKalb County Police come, of course, because this is a thing or whatever. And much like the other cases, there are no leads. Nobody saw anything. There aren't any cameras. It's dark, all of that shit. And the other thing is that no one, and I do mean no one, is thinking that Karen is connected to the transient murders because she don't fit the profile. She's a Caucasical woman. She's not homeless. She's not a black man. So, yeah, she don't fit the profile. So I ain't going to go in on them for not linking Karen at this point, right? But meanwhile, Atlanta, they are running out of options. They are perturbed, that these murders have happened, and they really want to get this killer off the streets. So they got this man that comes in, a witness, if you will, that tells them that another man had told him that he was the one that was shooting them homeless men that's been on the news. Sounds like some he said type shit to me, right? And I'm sure the Atlanta police probably felt the same way, but they look into it anyway. I mean, it's slim pickings around this motherfucker, so a lead is a lead, right? And the only other thing that they have is the bullets in the gun. And so on December 10th, 2014, Atlanta police decide to put everything they got on the table and release it to the public by way of a news conference. And they're saying that they've got this picture of this ammunition and this gun, and they're saying if anyone sees or knows someone that has this blazer ammunition or has a .45 revolver like this, y'all come holler at us, right? The ammo is rare, and so they're really hoping that it's going to stand out in somebody's mind. And just by chance, it actually did. The very next day, y'all, December 11th, 2014, this murderer that murdered those innocent people did the most niggerish shit a motherfucker could do. I mean, when I say he fucked up his own plate on some of the most dumbass criminal and shit, I mean that with my whole chest, y'all. Tell me why he tried to get on the MARTA train without paying. You know how it is at the train station. You put your card through the reader and it debits the fare and then the gate opens. Or if you are leaving the train station, you put your card in and it pops the gate open for you so you can exit, right? These very same gates that lead into and out of the train station are the very same gates that they always are watching, waiting on a motherfucker to try and jump the fare, right? So Aeman decides that he gonna slip through the gate that the peoples is coming out of. And the MARTA police see that ass and yoked him up for fare evasion. We talking $2.50. That's what got your ass caught. But wait, the smartest criminal of the year candidate, he also, in his back pocket, was holding a check for $400. He was on his way to the bank. Wait a minute. I just need a moment to sit with this. Because we talking 10 quarters. You blew your whole shit up for 25 dimes, 50 nickels. Like, nigga, you could have got that just by standing outside. Hey, man, can I get a quarter? Can I get $1? You could have really got that martyr fare up in 2.2 seconds. You could have literally went up to, like, a martyr employee and asked for, like, a privilege. What is it called? It's one of those, I forgot my wallet type shit. If you just give me a pass to get up out of here, I got you type situations. And why the fuck do you have a gun with you that you got bodies on bodies on bodies on to go cash your check? Like, was you gonna rob the bank? It just don't make sense. I could even see if you were actually like first level homeless. You ain't got no dough that you control. You got a little room over at the Drop In Motel. You could have left that goddamn gun at the room while you go cash your check and jump the fare and know you finna get arrested, but at least you won't get arrested with a gun on you. I guess we should be thankful for dumbass criminals like this and a system that actually works like it's supposed to sometimes. Because when they got his ass in that holding room and they went through his shit and they find that goddamn revolver and that box of ammunition, one of them officers was like, wait a minute, that was on the news last night. That's the motherfucker the Atlanta police got everybody on the lookout for. Come on, man. You can't tell me that it's going to be that easy, Nay. I'm telling you, it was just that easy. This nigga got caught because he didn't have pocket change. Well, the martyr police, they called APD and they was like, hey, man, we got Aeman. APD came and scooped that ass up and took him straight into the interrogation room, right? Now, I told y'all, this nigga ain't met a recording device that he didn't want to unburden himself to, right? And so Detective Quinn, he ready to bring this thing to a close. And he sat in a room with Aeman's pussy ass for 6 motherfucking hours. You would have thought it was 2 dudes shooting the shit at the cookout for them first 2 hours because they were talking about everything under the sun, life, philosophy, and shit. Like, nigga, this is a murder case. Can we get this thing moving? But, baby, by the time that 6th hour was done, not only had Aeman told it all, this nigga turned it into a show and tell type situation. He acted out how he did what he did. And then this audacious nigga played the victim and the perpetrator roles. It was like, I was like this, and he was like that. And then I went over here like this, and he was laying there like this. Nigga, what? After all of this, he's still dropping nuggets of information that the police don't know. And I guess 6 hours, if you just let a motherfucker ramble, they will eventually tell all their business. And because he did, he told Detective Quinn about Karen Pierce because remember, they didn't know that she was one of his victims. No, just sign this nigga up for the junior academy because he ended up doing all the work. After 6 hours, 360 minutes, y'all, of straight up chatty Cathy, this nigga Aeman, he ends his soliloquy by saying to the Detective Quinn, I wish you had been my father. What? Yes, y'all. Yes. That's what Aeman told Detective Quinn after he had told everything that he had been doing out here in these Atlanta streets. God damn. That's a hell of a period on the end of a sentence. I want you to be my daddy. It's too late now, nigga. Too late. Take a bow though, because that final monologue, that just might get you that big time recognition that you've been waiting for, baby. A room on death row. Because at this point, we got 4 bodies in 2 different jurisdictions. So Aeman would first stand trial in DeKalb County in September of 2015 for the murders of Calvin Gaston and Karen Pierce. And they hit him with everything: 2 counts of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. And they also gave his ass a deal. They let his cable stay on in exchange for 2 life without parole plus 10 years. So, you ain't gonna never get out. That sounds about right. And it was basically the same thing when he went to trial in 2017 in Fulton County for the murders of Dorian Jenkins and Tommy Mims. Aeman. Aeman. Aeman Lovelle Presley is inmate 000-114-0808 at the Telfair State Prison here in Georgia. And that, New Orleans Nation, is the story of Aeman Lovelle Presley. My Lord. Child, honey, what a mess. Just a mess. Mental illness mixed with entitlement and access to a gun is always going to be a recipe for trouble. Like, in my mind, though, the only thing that really just, I ain't going to say keeps me up at night, but really just makes me puzzle a little bit is, what if he had not jumped that martyr gate? Like, what if he had $2.50 on him that day? What if his martyr card was loaded and ready to go? He might still be out there today because the police had nothing. Nothing. If he had gotten rid of that gun, it would have been game over. They had nothing. But he didn't do any of those things. He just going around killing at will and walking through train stations with the gun on his body, with the evidence. I mean, all the evidence. The box of bullets. This box of bullets that they got on the news. I mean, dude, what the fuck? But again, thank you for being a very dumbass criminal. We need that shit. But I'm gonna tell you, this nigga Aeman, he got good sense. Yes, sure, he may have some mental issues perhaps, but that nigga got good sense. He know right from wrong. He know good from evil. He knew enough to pray. So my sympathies are with the victims, not his punk ass, because, he went around terrorizing a community that's already going through enough. The homeless community, I mean, goddamn, you mad because you can't get a jump start in a Tyler Perry movie, and so you gonna take out your frustrations on people who just trying to make it day by day on the street? Nigga. I mean, even today, and I'm talking like recent history, I think the last I found was like last year, 2025. This nigga is out here doing interviews and shit. And to use a word that them white folks like to use, he's very well spoken. He likes to talk. You can listen to some of his interviews where he break it all down. Like, it was me, I did the shit. There was even an interview with him and Detective Quinn, like a reunion of sorts. We ain't seen each other since that 6-hour interview. Like, what the fuck? I'm not going to say that he is not remorseful, but it also felt a little bit like it was boastful. Like, I don't know if proud is the right word to use, but proud. You talking about what you did and how you did it, like we are talking about the last play at the football game. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I did it like this. And, just very matter of fact and explaining his point of view and how he looked at the situation. And of course, always framing himself as, if I hadn't had a household without a male figure present, if it hadn't been for this, if it hadn't been for that, maybe I wouldn't have been this and maybe I wouldn't have been that. Like, again, the tiny violins of it all. But again, I ain't trying to hear none of that shit. And it also got me to thinking about how at one point one of the ways I was thinking about bringing more engagement to the show, this was right around the time I did the Atlanta child murders. One of the things I was thinking about doing was maybe doing some interviews with some of these mayhem makers. But as I sat with it and looked at it from all the angles, as we Virgos tend to do, it just wasn't for me. Because, for one, I won't be objective. I don't want to be objective. I want to be disrespectful, if you really want to know. I don't want a killer or a rapist to be able to attempt to glorify their crime on my platform. This ain't an interview. This a read. Because you's a trifling, cowardly, pathetic little man. You didn't run up on nobody that could go round for round with you. Hell, your sneak attack pussy ass didn't even go head up on nobody. You snuck these men. Although you did run up on Karen. But again, that shows your character and what type of man that you are. And I'm sorry, I cannot abide your buffoonery. You are right where you should be. And you can try that reincarnation shit if you want to. We'll be waiting 4 times over plus 10 because we petty like that. That's all I got. Tell me what you think, New One Nation. Y'all know how to get at me. I am Melanin Mayhem Podcast on the social media sites. On X, I am Melanin Mayhem PC. You can email me. My email is melaninmayhempodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to go over to melaninmayhempodcast.com for all your merchandise needs. There's also the e-guide that will help you get started if you are interested in getting a story out and just not sure how to get started on that. You can purchase my e-guide and it will help kind of break through a couple of things for you. There is also that fabulous little series, the Melanin Mayhem Original Story Series. You can always subscribe so that you can hear the alternate endings. Did I also mention it was commercial free? I don't know if I've been plugging that enough, but yes, baby, commercial free over there. You can get down at melaninmayhempodcast.supercast.com. All right, New One Nation, we about to wind this thing down. Last things that we have to do, of course, we have to do our New One Nation shout out. And today we're going to shout out Victoria Banks, who left a review on Spotify. Hey, cousin, I'm so happy to finally see you. Keep it up, fam. I spread you all over here in Denver, Colorado. I love you. Baby Victoria, I love you right back. Boops. Thank you. I love me some Denver, although I've never been past the airport. Long story. Totally crazy, but I've been trying to get back ever since. I got to come up to Denver and come hang out with my people. I want to come in the wintertime so we can do some winter sports because I think I look cute in a little bunny suit on the slopes, baby, doing what I do, which ain't much. Victoria, thank you for taking time out of your day to spend a little time with the country girl and for writing me this wonderful review. You too can leave a review wherever you listen, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Supercast, wherever you're listening. If they got a place for you to leave a review, go ahead and leave your girl a review. Just make sure it's for me. Y'all remember last week I brought you the review that wouldn't for me, but you know, we take it all, baby. We take it all. All right, it is truly like 4:30 in the morning, Wednesday morning. I'm going to get in the kitchen and do what I do to polish this up a little bit. Y'all know before I go, I need to make sure that you know to stay safe and please, please, please stay vigilant. And if you don't remember nothing else, remember that if you stay ready, ooh, you ain't got to get ready. It's one love, the One Nation, and your favorite country girl is out of here.
Ooh wee, Nana, you did that.